Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Broken Theory. Today we got Johnny SEBAS. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's good, man?
Finesse.
How you living?
Yeah, we chilling, man. Another day. Very blessed to be here. How about you?
Absolutely. Same thing here, man. Another day, another dollar, Out here grinding
Yes,
as usual.
Yup.
But I want to talk about where it first started for you in music. What was the journey like when you first started out?
Man, for me, honestly, I didn't know I was gonna be doing music. I was kind of like lost when I first got to the starting point. It was like back in high school when I reconnected with a childhood friend, and he was on this website just making beats with loops, and I was sampling before I even knew what sampling was, because they would have like specific loops and I would just kind of like cut them up and rearrange them a certain way, and they'd look at me like, yo, we can't find this loop on the website, where'd you find it? And I was just like, I just cut it up and rearranged it, and they looked at me like I was crazy. But I sat there like, I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but something in me was like, hey, do it like this.
Yeah,
and
creative, naturally.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to apply it, so music just naturally found its way to me.
That's fire, man. What age would you say that you started?
Think like around 14. So, but from 14, it was like on and off, but I've been more committed to it like this last year, just creating and really trying to figure out what kind of music I want to put out there and what kind of name I want to build,
Yeah, absolutely, man. And how old are you now?
Right now, 22, man.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's what's up, bro. Who are the people that inspired you coming up?
Coming up, it's going to be like all over the place. So I got, what is it? So like producer-wise and artist-wise, I would have to say John Bellion and then Kanye, because the way they think and move is just different from everybody else. Like, what is it? Like, John Bellion, he has videos online where he's just like creating different kinds of rhythms and beats just off of things that he heard walking, or if he just like has it in his head and he's like, all right, bet this is how it has to be arranged. So I just kind of like adopted that workflow, and then now I'll just be in public how he does it and just be bopping my head, no headphones on. I'm just like, all right, that's the arrangement.
Who is that again that you see?
John Bellion. So he's an artist and producer, and he also be working with other artists making their tracks too. So it's kind of cool.
That's what's up. You're gonna have to send me his information. I definitely want to check him out, see what he's got going on.
I got you.
Yeah, no doubt. What was your latest inspiration behind your latest album?
The latest inspiration, I would have to say, is Jay Willard, because honestly, man, his last album was putting me in my feelings. I'm like, all right, how can I grasp this and create my own thing from it? So I was like, all right, there's sentimental pieces, and then there's this part where it's just kind of like it's using the intro, but then you create it into this whole other vibe,
Yeah, I got you. So like one thing transforms into another.
Yeah.
So you started off with the producing, and at what point did that change?
I think that changed pretty rapidly. So like at first it was more like, all right, I like putting beats together and producing, and then I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't have a friend that raps. I don't know how to get in contact with other rappers, because I was just like starting to figure out how to do all that part, but the business part was never a thing for me. So I'm like, all right, I don't know how to network. I was more introverted back then. So I was like, you know what, let me see how I sound rapping over it. And I knew it was trash when I first recorded it, but everybody else was like, yeah, no, it sounds okay. Like, you're not bad. I'm like, nah, it's trash. So I would just on and off work on it. And then slowly I got better. But the more I committed to it, the more I saw like faster results,
Yeah, I got you. Can you share a memorable experience from your hip hop journey?
Um, from my hip hop journey,
I mean, just in general,
like
like music. Yeah.
in general, um, so for me, I started out with like Christian rap, so more like Andy Mineo and Lecrae.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when I first heard them rap, because growing up, I grew up in a Christian household. I always thought like rap was always of the world, you know how they say. But
Worldly
then
behavior.
hearing them, yeah, like hearing them put in the gospel into like rap music, that was kind of like a pivotal moment. It was like, oh, so music doesn't have to just be a one way kind of thing. It can be multiple different avenues from multiple different takes.
Absolutely. How important is faith to you?
Faith is important to me, man, because that's what keeps you sturdy, you know? Because if you don't have anything to believe in, you always fall for anything.
Absolutely, man. Can you share a memorable experience from your journey in the hip hop industry?
In the hip hop industry, I mean, I'm more in like the Latin industry, but like if we're talking about in general hip hop wise, I would probably say, what is it, the Graduation album from Kanye? Just
Yeah.
because, like I said, he was doing it different, and then what is it? He was one of the first secular rappers to actually mention God in his music, and it was still a banger. Like everybody loved it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely, to this day, I still bump that first album, man. It's definitely a classic.
Exactly, man.
Knowing everything that we know about the music industry and what it represents, how does it make you feel with the way that your faith is? Like how strong you believe in your faith?
I mean, me personally, they're always going to make an assumption because of my faith, and I know that for a fact. The only thing is, like how the old saying goes, if you have a problem with me, call me, and if you don't have my number to call me, then you don't know me enough to have a problem. So if my faith is going to be a problem to you, call me. If you ain't got my number, you ain't know me enough to understand why I believe what I believe.
Hell yeah. Nah, I definitely appreciate that, man, because I mean, definitely being an independent artist, bro, it's like you got your good times and you got your bad times, and it's like, you know, always being able to count on the higher power, man. It's amazing when it shows you different things. You know what I mean? Like when you talk and you see, you know what I mean?
Nah, exactly. And if
not everybody could relate.
For him, I wouldn't have this gift, man.
Exactly. Like, I believe the same way. God gets all the glory. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we get put in certain situations that it's like, you know, only someone that can make it through, honestly, like, you know, it's a cliche saying, you know, God
exactly,
the strongest battles for his strongest warriors and stuff, but like it's all written, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be on the other side of this shit. So just like knowing that we get in these problems or anything that goes on in lively behavior, you know, worldly experiences, you know what I mean?
Nah, exactly, bro.
No doubt. How do you balance staying true to your roots while evolving your sound?
I mean, staying true to my roots is just being creative at the end of the day, because I'll create a track and if it sounds too much like either from what I got inspired by or what another artist has, I'll completely scrap the whole thing and just restart, because to me, it's like my roots are creativity and honesty. You feel me? If I can't feel like I'm being honest or creative enough on the track, I can't have it out.
Absolutely. How do you handle criticism and stay motivated in this competitive industry?
I mean, criticism for me, it really depends where it comes from. If it's malicious intent, I'm like, all right, cool. I know where you at. I know where you're coming from. But if it's like an actual critique where it's like, hey, I think you could do this better, and I feel like it's a genuine, like, a genuine comment, I'll be like, all right, bet, cool. I'm gonna keep that in the back pocket for the next track, and I'll put it on, you know?
Yeah, that's good. So like basically if anybody tells you, like, for instance, like, oh, your delivery could have been better and this and da. Next time you're in the studio, is that something that you keep in mind, like while you're, performing on the mic?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, there's always critiques that someone's gonna give me that I'll take, but I already had it in the back of my head because my main thing is like, all right, I'll critique myself and then I'll see if those critiques line up with other people's. I'm like, all right, cool. So we are all on the same page, we all in agreement. But if someone comes from left field, like, oh yeah, nah, that shit was whack, and
Just
there's
hating.
no like actual, there's no like actual proof of them wanting me to get better. Like if they weren't like, yo, that shit is whack, but I think you could have done this better and it would come out like a better result. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Trying to give you some
hate,
improvement.
It's just the way they present it. But if they're like, oh, that shit was whack and walk away, it's just hate.
Yeah, we don't tolerate that.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, all right, cool. Brush it off the shoulder. Keep moving.
Yep. You got to, man, because I mean, if you take the time to respond to somebody that has time to do that in their day, man, it's just like, it kind of lowers you as a person. Like, you got that type of time?
Exactly.
Like, it's
like you're not any better. Yeah,
we supposed to be moving.
Man.
Like, we got shit to do.
If you got a dream, you ain't got time for that, man.
What do you feel sets your music apart?
Right now, I mean, what sets it apart is just, I guess, me, because I'm the one man army right now. A lot of artists, they have a team behind it. They got everything. I'm just me, one person. I'm the producer, engineer, artist. I mean, I'm like the writer and everything, man. So that's why I feel like it comes out a little bit different. It comes out a little more soulful because it's coming from a genuine place. It's coming from that one person.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. What was your biggest investment into this music thing?
Yeah, I'd probably say the time, to be honest, because just finding little pockets of space to like really work on my craft, late nights, working on at least like 2-3 songs, trying to get it done, trying to get them better. So, and that's something I'll never get back. So that's really the biggest one.
Yeah. And I mean, does it feel rewarding that you did it? Because I mean, it takes a lot to see something that's not there and just be like, nah, like, I'm gonna get this shit right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear what you mean. So for me, it's always worth it, because even just like if it's 1% better a day, I'm happy with it, because that means we're 1% closer to that dream, that goal.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, perception is everything, in this music industry. You never know who is who, and you never know where they're gonna be in 5-10 years. They could end up investing in something and then get a shit ton of money 20 years later and be the man on top. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know.
Exactly, man. All these quote unquote overnight successes ain't always overnight. There's always some kind of like backstory. There's always some kind of work on there that nobody sees.
Yep. Or nobody cares enough to pay attention to. I mean, yeah, they knew he was messing with music, but ain't nobody ever clicked the link. Ain't nobody ever, the concert. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you miss out on that opportunity of being able to have that network. You know what I mean? Because had you went to the concert, you probably would have the nigga phone number. You know what I'm saying? And be able to keep in touch still.
Yup.
It's not about what you know, it's who you know in this industry, unfortunately.
Yeah. Nah, and that was one of the first statements that I had to truly grasp, because I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, no, I'm making all this great music, and then in the back of my head I'm like, dude, you don't know anybody, so it's like, who cares? You need to figure out who's who and then go talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, starting off like not having anybody listening to your music, everybody does music for different reasons. You understand what I'm saying? So like, it's a good thing, because at that time you're able to experiment and find your sound, because by the time you do have listeners, then you're able to be like, all right, well, this is what I know 100%, like I could drop and it's gonna spread like, hotcakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and then you got a lane that maybe like every time I drop this, you know, I see a different reaction. Like it's a different crowd of people. You know what I'm saying? So you might keep playing with something in the tuck. But hey, man, how does your mental health play a role in your career, and how do you take care of yourself?
Right now I'm in a spot where mental health is everything. And it is funny that you said that music, like people do music for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it kind of started out as like a mental health journey, because I would always write about like how I was feeling and things like that, and I felt this release. So then I was like, all right, bet, let me see what happens when I put it into word, and then I'd feel an even bigger release, you know? So it's like, for me, it's really like a therapy session, and I'm gonna quote NF because he literally says that on one of his tracks that is therapy for him. So I'm just like, all right, bet. So let me see how this feels. And then I started liking the way that it was like coming out, because I'm like, all right, I have a way to express myself and release this tension that is going through my head, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like, all right. So I just kept going at it and kept working and working and working, and it was like, all right, cool. Now I have a good sound. I'm able to clear my mind out. I'm straight. You feel me?
Absolutely. What role does your community play in your music and your career?
Man, my community, I love my community. It's like, it's a diverse, if we just talking about Latin culture and Hispanics, it's diverse out the wazoo, man. Just like, what is it? Just like cultural wise, accent wise, food wise, everything. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful mix. And then being able to grow up Dominican, at first I was kind of lost as to like how I should feel about it, because I would just tell people I'm Dominican and they go, you're toxic. I'm like, dude, you don't even know me. I'm chill. You feel me?
Yeah.
So then at first I was kind of lost as to how to feel about it. So I would just say I'm Hispanic or Latino and things like that. But then as of late, I'm just like, nah, fuck that. I'm Dominican.
Yeah.
Like throwing,
gotta be proud.
Like I don't gotta be ashamed of it. Like yeah, I carry that with my shoulder, with my head up high. You feel me?
You have to, man.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stay grounded in the midst of all this pressure in the music industry of like, you know, having to drop stuff and do the social media stuff?
Honestly, it's just acceptance. You feel me? Because I had to learn that even though I don't like being on the phone all the time, even though I don't like having to go out, do all this promo, getting reactions, doing this, doing that, and the third, I'm just like, look, if I really want to do this, I got to accept it, and I got to commit 100%. There's no, I'm going to make it off of 75. Nah, I have to be on 100. And there's some days where I'm like, all right, you know, I'm not on 100. So, you know, you take that 1 day off, 2 days off just to clear your head. But as soon as it gets to 3, that's when you're like, nah, we got to get back in it. Now we're back at 70, 80%, things like that.
But I'm going to say one thing, man. If you have 20% left and you gave 20%, you gave 100%, bro. You know what I'm saying? So just like them days that you like, man, I only got a little bit in me, bro, just start. Just, you know what I'm saying? Push through
it. Yeah, I got you.
Consistency, you know what I'm saying, is what matters in this game, at least to my experience. That's when I've seen the most out of my career, like when I was consistent with things, when I was, you know what I mean, on top of doing everything I knew I needed to do. You know what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, as an artist, how do you balance the business side and the music side? You know, like you said, it's just you doing everything. And especially with social media, you know, you're up against all these big labels and big budgets. How do you manage all of that?
Honestly, I just kind of do my research and see how things are going. So it's like, when I first started out, it was a lot of pressure. I was just like, all right, bet. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to drop and drop and drop. But back then, my mindset was, I'm going to drop and people going to find it, because I grew up in that time where it was like, where it happened, but it was in a different avenue, because they would drop and then they would go perform. There wasn't necessarily like a marketing strategy behind it, because this was back when like X and Ski Mask and Trippie Redd were coming out. Like they would drop and then they would just go perform, and then that was that. But I didn't know that was the game, so I thought they were just dropping and then they were just blowing up. But now it's kind of like having to navigate the business and the music. So it's like the music has to be on par with what's going on with the marketing side. You feel me? So it's kind of got to be like an even out kind of thing.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to position yourself in a certain community, certain audience, and like have a certain look and do things a certain way, you know what I mean? Because I mean, it at the end of the day, this is a business. You know what I'm saying? So like, people in the industry usually strategically like place their audience in the right places and shit like that to target them. So it's like, if you're gonna have that opinion, man, it's like the music does have to match 100%. You know what I mean? Because like, if you're going for that punk rock emo shit, then it's like the music got to sound like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly
what Playboy Cardi doing and shit like that. Like, he changed his whole image and changed the music as well.
Exactly, man.
Nah, I feel it, man. How has your sound evolved from your first project until now?
Man, it evolved drastically because I started, like I said, I was kind of like self-taught in the essence. So I was kind of like learning from YouTube, learning from other producers and things like that.
Yeah, I was too.
And then, and then kind of like intaking that info that they was giving.
Yeah.
Like slowly but surely, it kind of like made more sense. And I'm just like, all right, cool. So there has to be this kind of range in order for the track to sound full. And then there has to be this kind of flow in order for it to keep the listener engaged. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like the pieces started falling together as time passed and the more I practiced. And I sit here and I compare the tracks. I'm like, all right, I did this track at the beginning of this year and I did this one right now. What has gotten better and what can I do better? And then I just apply those principles, and then every track that I make is just better and better and better.
How do you react when you figure out you're having a creative block?
Honestly, I just take a step back and I go work on something else. Either that or I'll go for a walk, I'll read a book, take a nap, watch anime, just clear the mind out. Because like how engineers, they'll get ear fatigue. It's the same thing with artists. It's the same thing with producers. You're going to get fatigued, but you can't just stay in that fatigue. You got to like reset, you know?
Yeah. And the way to do that is stay moving, you know what I'm saying? Keep busy.
Exactly.
Keep doing things. So what's coming next for you?
Man, what's coming next? Right now, I've been honing in on the business side while working on the music. So it's like setting up shows, setting up new releases coming out, things like that. So they all coming slowly but surely.
What are some of your favorite animes? I know you had mentioned anime, so for the anime heads out there.
Yeah, right now my top one is One Piece, man. That one, it's a long one.
It is, bro.
But it was worth it. It was worth it through and through, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And then, let me see. I got One Punch Man because Saitama is just a menace. And then JJK because Gojo, that dude funny. So right now that's like my top 3.
Nah, I dig it, bro.
So I got a few tats on some other ones that I love too.
Nah, that's dope. What's your favorite track you ever created and why?
Man, it's a track that I got set for coming out like later this year. And it's just mostly because I felt like it encompasses overall, like, you know, how we've been conversating about progression and like understanding what needs to be there in order to make a track feel complete. And when I listen to it, I feel the energy and I feel hype, you know what I mean? Like I feel the emotion, I feel like the story behind it. I'm just like, all right, I can't wait to get this one like performed and show everybody what it's about. Cause I'm just like, it's catchy, it's heartfelt. It's got like everything that I've been dreaming about since I was like 14, starting this to now. So I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Finesse, baby.
What's your relationship with other artists in the industry like?
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm kind of like building it up, so it's like it's more so coming from a base of respect. But I definitely feel like it's a different kind of culture when it comes to working with Latin artists versus American artists. Because with Latin artists, they definitely like locked in. They don't care about the money right now. They just like trying to work. But then American artists, no matter like what the level range is, they're like, yeah, nah, I charge like 150 to hop on this beat. I'm like, dog, I'm giving you the whole track for free, and you want me to pay you to hop on it? It's like, come on. But I give a track to like a Latin artist, they'll be like, all right, bet, cool. Give me like a month.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the person
it's just like
does it for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure just like every culture, you know, you got people that's greedy and people that, you know what I'm saying, just trying to get by, I guess.
Yeah, because, and also I think it might be a perspective thing too, because for me, back when I was making more like English tracks, it was more like, I'm just trying to get my name out there. I really don't care about the money right now.
Yeah.
But I do see what you're talking about. So it's definitely like what they're doing it for and the reasons of.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, because it's okay with like giving money to somebody. Like, if you were to do a song with Jay-Z and he was to ask you for, let's just say, $5,000, that would that be a steal to you or no?
Dog, if it was Jay-Z,
but that's what I'm saying though. You never know who's gonna be the next Jay-Z. So it's like, you know, with that being said, when you work with somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're really investing in them. And that's why, like, me personally, I'm very careful with who I do songs with, because it's like, you know, same way I'm investing in you, you're investing in me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's gotta be mutual, bro. I gotta be able to listen to your music, you know, and tolerate it. Like,
True. Yeah, no, I got you. Okay, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, after
it's
that,
like an investment
you're tied to my legacy.
Yeah.
After that, you're tied to my legacy. You're forever, and you know what I'm saying? And I don't know about you, bro, but I plan on every year stepping up. So it's like, you know, some people will just leech on to you, bro. And, you know, sometimes you got to put that there for there to be some distance. Because people will take advantage of you. You'll be doing a whole bunch of free work and you could be making money paying your bills. I mean, it's all perspective and where you at in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I got you. I see what you mean.
But absolutely, like, me personally, if I like somebody's music, I do charge for features. But if I like somebody's music, one, I'll definitely give them a deal. And two, like, most of the time after we start working in the groove, bro, like, we just start creating music. It's not about money anymore. But in order for me as an artist to see through the artists that are willing to invest in themselves and aren't, there has to be that barrier there. There has to be that boundary there. You know, understand what I'm saying? Otherwise, I done spent way too much time, bro, to where, like, I was doing shit for people for free and they didn't appreciate it. I was sending people beats for free and they didn't appreciate it. And it's like, bro, I stopped what I'm doing in my day, you know what I'm saying, to do that. And it's like, bro, after you've been doing this for so long, you know what I mean? You just get to a point to where it's like, every time I stop what I'm doing, I'm stopping my motion. You know what I'm saying? I'm stopping my career forward. So in order for me to do that, I do need to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Okay.
I mean,
all right, I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's just like when you decide that this is no longer just a hobby, it's a business now. You know, you got your music registered, you got an LLC. I mean, can't be doing no free shit no more, bro. You paying every year for this business.
Yeah, exactly.
Now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. I got you. Everybody has their own perception, but there's no problem with staying true to your roots and down to earth and stuff like that. Like, if you believe in somebody and you're like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, let's collab, or they reach out and they're like, let's collab, and you like, yo, this person shooting high quality visuals, the beats is dope. Yeah, man, why not? The worst thing that could happen is it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like,
nah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, bro. It's all about perspective, and that comes with experience, bro. Because I done been in so many damn situations where I was trying to help people, and they took advantage of me every time, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now the people that I
Yeah.
do help, it's because I want to help them. One, and two, it's like I'm throwing it away. I'm not expecting anything from any of the people that I'm helping. You know what I mean? So it's like it all depends on what you do.
Yeah, nah, I see what you mean.
What does your daily routine look like, or maybe like a week with you? How often do you work on music?
I mean, it definitely varies, but whether people believe it or not, I always have like music running through my head. So it's kind of like I'll think of different ideas and different like different ideas, different genres and flows and things like that, just to like experiment. But then once I'm like in the studio, I just kind of tune it all out and see what naturally happens, you know, like whether it be a boom bap or if it be a reggaeton or something, you know. I just kind of like let it flow and not really try to fight against it, you know. But there are definitely some weeks that it's a lot easier to do that than others. And it really depends if I've been creative to like 110 to 120%, you feel me? And then the next week I have to be on 80. But then if I'm on 80, I'm like, all right, bet that I can use my analytical side and just be more business savvy, you know? Figure out what would be the best release strategy, figure out, okay, I need to go to this spot to get this visual, and then I got to take care of this content idea, this, that, the third, network with this person, go talk to this person. Oh, this studio's having this going on. So I'm like, so whether it's like creatively or analytically, the week really varies, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Well, are there any habits or things you started doing to make sure that like when you do have time to create, you're able to, and you don't have that block like we spoke about earlier?
For me, that would probably be like, I'm very like health, like enthusiast, I guess you would say, but I'm like health discipline, let's call it that, because for me is like I enjoy and I love being creative, but I also like to have another outlet in case that one isn't going through, you feel me? So I don't get frustrated with what I love.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the gym or I'll go on a walk or something like that, where it's like I can listen to music and I can digest music, because it's just like, it's like it'll either be a background or it'll be like an emotional boost, you feel me? Because how those memes every now and again come up, they're like, oh, this song broke my heart, so now I'm gonna hit this PR in the gym. And then you hit that PR and you get this dopamine rush. I'm like, all right, bet. I love that side of being able to not necessarily stay creative, but stay inspired, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's important to stay inspired, bro. And it's like, it sounds so easy, but all it comes from is you just applying yourself. Once you apply yourself, you no longer have to try to stay inspired. You're just automatically inspired. It keeps flowing. But the moment that you put yourself in that energy to like block yourself from creating, let's say you want to go in the studio, but you rather binge your Netflix series or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And you go through with that. And then the next day you do that as well. You're stopping what you used to do in the studio. So it's like the next time you go to the studio, you may try to write something or you may try to put a beat together, and it's like, yo, you out of the whole groove you was in. You don't hear stuff the same way you was hearing it. It's like we talked about resetting ears and shit like that, like taking the breaks. Sometimes when you take them for too long, bro, you lose it.
Nah, literally, and I had to learn that lesson a few times, because I'd be like, because I remember, I think earlier this year when I was first committing to creating this project, it was like, I would be like, all right, bet, I'm gonna work on 2 songs this week, I'm gonna be productive, and I would do them, and I would feel great at the end of the week, but then the next week I'm like, all right, bet, I did all this work, let me enjoy a little break. That little break went from like 1 day, 2 days to like 4 or 5 days, and then it turned into a whole week. I'm like, damn, I did nothing with my time this week to be productive towards this dream, towards this goal. So it's like, was it really worth the break? You feel me?
Yeah. Nah, I mean, that's definitely a question.
I just keep that in the back,
bro. Definitely a question you gotta ask yourself. But one thing I want to ask you, man, before we take out of here, if you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be and why?
Stay disciplined, because literally learning about discipline later on in life is great that you learned it, but it sucks because then you think about all the things that you could have stayed disciplined with, you know? So definitely, if you find something that you love and you love it enough to where, like, how people say you would do it for free, stay disciplined with it enough and practice it enough to the point where people will start paying you to do it.
Absolutely, man. What are some of those things that you figured out that you needed to be more disciplined in, if you could share that?
So definitely, I'm not gonna say engineering because I feel like I picked that up a little too fast and understood it a little too quickly, but definitely like the production side of things. Because, you know, with productions, you have the melody, you have the drums and things like that of that nature. So for me, it's definitely being more disciplined and practicing, let's say, the piano or practicing my drums. So, because I didn't get pretty good with like the whole drumming thing until like, I want to say like this last summer, because one, I was taking a class, but two, I was being disciplined with it. So anytime he'd give me something to like practice, I'd practice it until like I could just do it with my eyes closed, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like I really understood and I honed it in, because when you're disciplined, you intake information differently and you really apply it to the things you want to hear and to the things you want to see.
When you're not, you're just like trying to search for the point versus taking all the information seriously.
Exactly.
And intaking it and just like actually processing it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. All right, my brother, we got less than 1 minute left. Is there anything out there that you want to say? Anything coming next before we get out of here?
All right, bet. So I got MySpace August 18th, if I am correct. And then I have a new single out right now, Si Acabó, on all streaming platforms. And then another one at the end of this month, No Leal, on all streaming platforms as well. I do appreciate your time, man. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, bro. This conversation.
No doubt, man. And definitely when you're ready to drop something, man, you definitely welcome back, man.
I appreciate you, man.
No doubt, man. Stay blessed.
Yes, sir. Likewise.